Obviously this makes the most sense, but let's give it another shot, I guess. felt too big. Asia. Not much. I had my supper and then I went to the pharmacy to grab some painkillers. I got a bit sick because of work. So I was like, okay, I need some Benylin so I can actually go and try to sketch my last session for the day. And yeah, so I'm back trying to do one last attempt. That's it. How about yourself? What do you mean by that? If you don't want to answer, I understand. Well, the job can be remedied. There are jobs out there. It's just that most of them are not fun and they don't pay well, but jobs do exist. As far as graphic design, I honestly, you really, if you're enjoying the program, that's one thing, but if you're trying to actually build a career out of it, you really have to look at, is there a demand for graphic designers, especially now with AI? And even if there's a demand, will the money be good so that you can actually live without struggling so hard? And you're only 25, that's not a big deal. Like, I went to school for art and now I work in construction. So, like, if I could come home, make time to draw, like in the mornings I wake up early to go to, for example, pray, read the Bible, and go to work, then come home, deal with all my chores and everything, the whole 9 yards, and still make time to draw so that I can make some kind of a transition over time. It's definitely possible for you. Same thing with web development. You should really look into it. Is there a lot of work? How competitive is it? And are you willing to do the work that you're going to be expected to do as a web developer? And also, will you accept the pay? for the time you have to work. When I was in school, I didn't think about any of that. I was just thinking, I just want to be an artist. I want to be a concept artist. That was my dream before. But that's not how reality works. I'm not saying you can't be successful as a graphic designer, not in the least bit. It's just you should really look into, can you actually make a living out of it? I hope that advice kind of helps. Because I find a lot of people that go to school just to escape life. But that's temporary. And eventually you'll be out of school and then you have to deal with real life. Like I said, you're only 25. It's not a big deal. As far as your temper goes, I mean, a lot of us had that issue. I know I did when I was younger, but after I became a Christian, I had to work on it. And honestly, it was for the best, because when you lose your temper, you'll do a lot of regretful things. And in my case as a Christian, it would be a bad example. It's like, oh, how can you tell me about Jesus when you can't even control your own temper? You know what I mean? Like that. I guess because I'm held accountable, I had to really work on it. And now I just let go a lot of things that used to annoy me. And honestly, it's just habits. Having a bad temper has to do with having bad habits. And we all have those, but I'm saying is you can actually overcome it. And one thing I keep in mind when people give me attitude, I just keep in mind that it's a statement about who they are. And why should I take it personally? For the most part, of course. Why should I take it personally? Because it's only going to hurt me. If I take it personally, you're going to poison yourself by thinking about all these evil and negative thoughts that are going to run through your head and your heart. When that person, it's like they're going to get a joy out of seeing you lose it. Another thing I work on is I make fun of myself. And I let other people make fun of me as well, because it actually helps you build up your confidence. You'd be surprised how many people are so sensitive about, they might act confident, but the moment you tease them a little bit, you'll realize, whoa, that person is super fragile and they really need to work on their internal problems. for me, when I sketch, pray, spend time with the Lord, read the Bible, it's almost like my batteries get recharged, and I can just handle a lot of what life throws at me. Does that make sense? Like, when you're in a good state, it's hard for people to throw you off. I don't even know what I'm doing with this sketch anymore. I'll tell you what, it's been a persistent ride. It's easier to keep going when things are working, but when it's not, it really tests how patient you are. And I can tell like how painful it's been today, just constantly trying to push through. It's a lesson. It's for both of us, really. And I might have a super bad day, or things are really going wrong for me. I just remind myself, at least I'm with the Lord. I know I'm going to heaven. I have made my peace with God. And I'm thankful that I'm still alive when other people are not. They're not here anymore. People that were breathing yesterday are now buried. We're not one of those people. We're still alive. And that's a huge blessing. I joke about that at work. I remind, sometimes we're doing work that's so miserable. It makes us feel horrible. But I'm like, hey, as a joke, hey, you woke up this morning, and some guys, they laugh, but they don't know, like, I'm being for real. You woke up this morning. I don't think you realize what a blessing that is. You most likely still have your health. I mean, if you keep that in your mind, it's almost like how eagles fly above clouds, so they just bypass the thunderstorm. Well, it's the same thing when you elevate your mental capacity to such a high state. All these problems in life just seem so small and beneath you. Like, no problem. I know it's there. I know I have to deal with it, but that's fine. I'll be fine. That's another thing I remind myself and other people. It always works out for me. It really does. And you know what? It always does. Because that's the state I've chosen to live in. And if I've said anything to hurt your feelings, I apologize. The way I deal with envy, with lust, with temptations in life, is through prayer. Like I said, I'm a Bible-believing Christian, so I don't try to solve my own problems. I rely upon God for that. I take it to the Lord in prayer and trust that He will help me get through it. It doesn't mean He's just going to magically remove my problems. It means He will strengthen me to deal with it. So that that's the advice I give others, because that's the advice I try to live by. Lust is a big one that most people, including myself, have to deal with. Envy, I don't really have that problem anymore, because like I said, I'm just in a different state. I don't love my job, I don't like my job, but I'm thankful for my job because it provides for my living. It provides, for the internet connection, the phone that I have, the roof over my head, the food I get to eat, the streams the privilege to sit down and make stream, videos. So that's what makes me appreciate my job. And then I take my free time to work on the things that I care about. And because of that, and because I've made my peace with the Lord, I just don't have that. It's gone. It's not there. What do I need to envy? Who do I need to envy? People that have more? I've thought about that. I've thought about, okay, if I was super successful, making a ton of money, what would I do then? I would want to come back and draw, for example. Like that for me, that's what it would be. I would want to come back and draw. So it's not the material. If you think about that, if you really think about it, if you had $100 million, what would you do? And for me, it's not the nice car or a super fancy place and just material garbage. It would be, the freedom to sit down and draw. So why don't I start doing that now? Does that kind of make sense? Like, I'm doing the things I want to do, and I don't see how I don't have that envy problem. I'm not sure what it is that's triggering you, but I guess hopefully what I said somehow can help you deal with your situation. For starters, stop beating yourself down so much. It's not gonna do you any good. And you're only 25. at hand. Well, if you're still there, Jean, I mean, I hope I can be an example for you. I work at a job just like everybody else. I don't love it, but it does, you know, it pays the bills. It pays the bills. That's really it. And I'm trying to learn how to draw, build my skills, and possibly do something with it. So you're high blue midnight. So, like I said, Jean, it honestly, it's not as big of a deal as you think. You can definitely change your life. Like, my goal, for example, here is to draw and to preach biblical messages. I'm happy with that. I'm good. I can't answer what you need to do with your life. That's something you're gonna have to discover by trial and error. So, I mean, in my lifetime, enough people have said, well, I don't know what I want to do, but you know exactly what you want to do. I'm like, well, I know what I want to do because I tried a lot of things that I figured out that I didn't want to do. Does that kind of make sense? Like, even though a lot of people were like, no, you should stick to art, I was like, no, it's not for me, it's not for me. I have other ideas, I have other things in my mind I would like to go and experience. But it took a lot of, I really don't want to do that, to finally come to this state. And now I need to grind for a long time before my skills are reasonable enough that I can hopefully make a name for myself and replace my job with it. That's my advice to you. If you like graphic design, but you don't like the idea of working for anyone, well, then think of alternatives. Or you just don't like graphic design anymore because you've given it a try. Perfect. Now you know it's not for you. And if you're thinking, yeah, but I went to school, I paid money for it. Trust me, I've been there. I've gone into debt, and I had to pay my debt after. I've gone through that. It sucks, but that's life for most of us. All I'm saying is it's doable. Well, that's kind of you, Blue Midnight. All day I've been trying to do different versions to get the orc and the goblin working together. If you're, I don't know if you're still around or you left the chat already, but if you're still around, this is an older version. You can see how goofy the goblin looks. And yeah, that's another version. It's starting to get a little better. Here's a super duper weirdo. Yeah, today I worked on that one. Oh, I guess Blue Midnight left. Those are so good. That's weird. Jean's here, Blue Midnight is here, but it says there's only one person in the chat. No, all these sketches you're seeing, that I did all of these. Yeah, this one, this one, this one, this one, this one, another one, another one, another one, and then it's these two, with this one being the final one. I'm not sure which one I like better, but I actually throw most of my stuff out. Like all this is going straight into the bin after the stream is over, and maybe I'll keep one of them, just one, not because I like it, but because it's the best I could produce today. When I told myself today is the day I'm gonna say no more for this drawing, that's it, I've put enough time, it's not working out. And I know why it's not working out, because my anatomy studies are weak, my animal studies are weak, clothing, fur, how medieval armor is put together, facial expressions, hand expressions. I can tell all these are a struggle for me. So instead of me beating this drawing until it makes more sense, it's better to say, okay, after like 20, like 10, 12, 15 attempts, enough is enough. I'm going to start doing some other drawings, or I'm gonna go do some studies to help improve drawings like this when I come back and attempt another one. If you guys don't mind, I'll be right back. I just wanna grab myself a cup of tea. And if you're not around, thank you for stopping by. I'll just leave this on the screen. Oh, there's still some people in the chat. That's cool. All right, well, I'm back. How's everyone doing right now? All right, that's good. I was about to say, I'm feeling better. The painkillers kicked in and I feel better. I was working at the 29th floor at the edge of the building on the ladder. Of course, I had a harness on, but the wind was strong. It was just like, it was like hot, cold, the weirdest weather. I saw rain, I saw the sun, and it was cloudy at one point, and it was windy at one point. It was like weird, just different weather conditions all within one shift. I think that's what got me a little sick. But yeah, no, I'm feeling better. Well, at least I think I feel better because of the, when you take painkillers, it really just manipulates your brain signals. And anyway, nevertheless, I feel better. And I was about to say, I have to go at 7:30. My time's about 13 minutes. Hey, no problem. Thanks for stopping by, Blue Midnight. Do what you gotta do, my friend. Do what you gotta do. Thanks for stopping by, and God bless you. But yeah, I was tempted to be like, hi, Kendry. I was about to say, how was everybody's evening? How's everyone this evening? But then I'm like, wait. I don't know who is where and what their time zone is right now. So that's why I had to restructure my words. But for me, it's evening. It's 8 p.m. here in Canada. Yeah, there's a lot of French speakers here now. It's Canadian French. It's not like French from Paris. It's Quebecois versus what I call the real French, and they don't like it. Like when the French here don't like it when I tell them I prefer the French from Paris. Paris. Yeah, they find it annoying. And if you hear Canadian French, you're probably not gonna like it because, like you said, you're from Belgium. And I understand it just a little bit. There was a time where I was practicing to learn French, but it got discouraging because even when you know French, it's hard to speak to Canadians that speak French. Like they speak another thing. I call it Fringlish. French and English mixed. What is happening with this orc? You ugly orc. Why don't you make sense? Why don't you learn how to draw? I'm trying. No, he would most likely sound like, why don't you learn how to draw? That was terrible. What's he doing with that hand? I don't know anymore. Maybe. Do you speak any other languages? I do. I speak Kurdish. And I used to speak Turkish because I've lived in Turkey. I don't remember it anymore. I can pick up on it if I watch Turkish films, but I used to speak it fluently. Yeah, English, I would say, is my main language right now. Even though I can speak Kurdish, I can't express myself the way I can express it in English. And expressions are actually so much nicer in French because the language is so rich. Welcome to Paris. Bienvenue à Paris. It's just so, it's so pretty. No, I don't know any Japanese. Do you? Did you just use tutorials to learn that? You want to live in Japan or something like that? What do you think about it? Drawing small? Oh, what do you think about versus big? I mean, on camera it looks really tiny, but if I was to put my hand right next to it, you can see that it's not that small. This is a full printer paper, and yeah, so I draw about that size. I mean, I'm working with printer paper, so that's the size I draw in. If I was doing thumbnails, so that, you know, the little sketches, then I would obviously do smaller ones so that I can focus on shape instead of details. If I was doing studies, then it's better to draw bigger. So if you're doing, you know, nose, face, eyes, ears, hands, fingers, feet, my biceps, whatever what you're doing. I use Duolingo, and yes, I want to live in Japan. That's cool. That's cool. Duolingo, Rosetta Stone is a good one. I really like Rosetta Stone. But if Duolingo works for you, that's fine. What was I saying? What about poses? Yeah. So places, same thing. You can just. It depends on the size of your sketchbook and what you're comfortable with. Same thing with poses. It doesn't have to be big, but when you're doing studies, and I mean slow studies, that you're taking your time to learn how to draw hands, for example, or face, especially face, it's better to draw big. And when I say big, just use your hand. Your hand should be a good measuring indication. Why do you want to draw bigger when you're doing studies? Because it forces you to pay attention and get things right, or else it's gonna look weird. But if you're just having fun, like this moment, then it doesn't matter if I'm going to generate a face at this scale. Does that kind of make sense? when you're drawing places, my advice would be to think about where the perspective lines converge. That really starts to help you think. Yeah, basically when you're studying 1 point, 2 point, and 3 point perspective, and when you're drawing from real life, it's really helpful. Just take a moment and think about mentally where the lines go when it comes to perspective convergence. So what I mean by that here, I'll switch over and draw right. So if you're drawing, let's say, a house, you're looking at a house and you're standing outside. Well, you know the house, let's say it's like that's the front of the house, and kind of does this. Well, you know this leads to a point somewhere. So you don't have that on your sheet, right? If your sheet was this big, well, you can mentally imagine where it goes. Then you know this is your eye line, horizon line, and the rest of these lines you imagine where they actually go to the other side. I'm just talking about thinking mentally about this. Or you could take your pencil and trace the lines when you're actually, I mean, it's hard to explain this right now because I took live drawing classes. So you might want to look up some videos from, for example, Ron Lemon on YouTube. He teaches that in depth. Yeah, shoot, if I could find that really good video, I'll but yeah, so if you're drawing outside, that's one thing to keep in mind, is think about mentally, where's the horizon line? Where do the vanishing points converge? Is it 2 points or is it just 1 point? And then the rest, just have fun sketching, really. And you'll notice your art, when you're drawing it live, it's not gonna look good because drawing from life is extremely difficult. However, it's something that most people don't do. Therefore, it puts you at an advantage over time. Not right away, but over time. Your designs, whether it's graphic designs, or okay, yeah, you too, take care, Blue Midnight. So yeah, whether it's graphic design or illustration or concept art, it doesn't matter. Disney, you name it. In fact, Disney is a good example. These guys draw from life so much. That's why their work, sorry, correction, old Disney, not new Disney. Old Disney, the golden ages, their art was so good, so good. Yes, it was stylized, but it felt alive because these guys were drawing from real life. Sketchbook, tendency to who cares? You gotta stop caring. You're practicing. You're by default caricaturizing. It's because your muscles haven't been trained and your mind hasn't been trained to be able to capture people properly. So who cares if it upsets or annoys people? And most likely it won't. Most people, I don't think they even care. Most people would respect you for even attempting. It's like, oh wow, okay, hey, good try. You know, you're learning. Good try. Like, I've never come across somebody being upset because my sketches were horrible. The only thing I find is when I would go and draw people live, sometimes they would give you weird looks like, why is that person staring at me? But if they see, like, they see you looking up and down your paper, they get it, you're sketching. And if that makes you feel uncomfortable, then just look at somebody else, or look at a place and a location, a building, a church, whatever, you know, a car, or people's movements. In fact, I need to go out and start drawing people too. Well, that's gonna be a while. I got plenty. Well, at least. Actually, yeah, that's another good idea. If you don't feel like going out, you can always Google something and draw from it, or look at a video on YouTube, pause it, and then use that as your reference. It's not the best example because when you draw from a screen, it actually flattens everything, right? Because you're looking at a two-dimensional screen. Nothing beats drawing from life, but the second best is drawing from a video, because you can pause it in the moment and then try to draw it. Or, you know what, going to museums, or going to the zoo or a farm. There, you got so many options of cool locations to draw. Why is it? No, it's not better. It's not better. It's just, it's convenient. I call it second best. Nothing beats drawing from life. Nothing. I mean, if you look at the greats, you look at Michelangelo, Da Vinci, Raphael. Why is it better? Because you can capture moments in a video. Like, most pictures are, yeah, you can find good pictures, but you don't always find something you're looking for. But I find in videos you have a better tendency to catch it, because, for example, a skateboard. The guy is about to jump in midair, do a kick flip, and then right in that moment you pause it, like, oof, I really want to draw that. That looks so cool. I love the pose. I love the energy. I love the movement. Or you're drawing horses, but you find all the horses you see on Google, they're so stiff looking. But then you watch videos on horses, there's movement, action, different muscles, different poses, and you start seeing how a horse actually is built and put together. So when you pause those moments, it's like a personal study session for you. But then again, like I said, nothing beats drawing from life. And don't worry if it doesn't look good. Like I said, all day I've been doing this and it doesn't look good, you know, but I'm proud of myself for putting in the time, and that's what counts. Like, what in the world is going on here? Oh yeah, that's the head of a skull. He's holding a skull. Why? I don't know, because he's an evil orc. That hand doesn't even make sense. You don't have to go out if you don't want to. It's optional. I rarely go out myself, even though I work outside. It's just literally work home, work home, work home, work home. Really? You narcissistic? I never thought, like, from the way you say things, I wouldn't have imagined that you've got a narcissistic personality. Drawing in public also helps build your confidence, because random people do come up to you, and or some people just, when I used to draw at museums, sometimes, well, generally speaking, at least one or two people would be around to talk to me, look over what I'm doing. Sometimes I would draw a decent amount of people, like a mini crowd. And man, does that make you feel uncomfortable. But you know what? It's actually, if it makes you uncomfortable, it's actually good for you, because it forces you to get out of your shell. Like, who cares? People are watching you. Who cares? Your art doesn't look good. Are you having fun? Yes. That's it. Keep moving forward. Like, I wish I could talk to myself, from the past, because the things that are going through your head, I get it. I get it. Sheesh, 8:21. What about them? It's only weird if you think it's weird. And don't just draw girls, draw everybody. Like, don't make girls any more special than and that old man or that fat guy or that guy with an enormous jaw or that skinny old lady. Like, treat everybody, the same. And when you come across a girl you want to draw, like, what would he do? She's just another person. You get what I'm trying to say? Like, don't pedestalize them. I personally like drawing I don't want to use the word ugly people, but people with real features and real flaws and real characters on their faces. I find that more interesting. It reminds me of my favorite, one of my favorite artists of all time, Rembrandt. He loved drawing the average person. It's kind of tricky to draw fat people when I don't master values. Well, drawing people in general is hard. And I'll be honest, just from drawing people, you're not going to become Da Vinci. You still have to spend time studying how anatomy works, how it's put together, how it moves, how you flex, how your muscles are when they're relaxed, what they look like, how skin sags, what tight skin looks like, how veins stick out when you're muscular. There's just so much to it, and not to mention if you're gonna draw animals, and then there's understanding at least the basics of animal anatomy. No, absolutely not. Observation is just one ingredient. So if you're juggling, like, a circus clown, well, it's not just one ball you're juggling a whole bunch of balls at once. So there's observation, there's anatomical studies, they're studying poses, then okay, now your poses and your people look decent, but now you gotta study different types of clothing and costumes to fit these characters so that you can add personality and life to them. And then if you're going to create creatures like my ugly guy here, well, then you have to understand how animals work, at least certain animals, so that it can improve your drawings when you're mixing a human body and a head of an animal like a rat, for example. So yeah, it's observation is just one, and on top of that, you have to learn how to measure when you're studying anatomy, when you're studying poses, because measurement helps you understand, and therefore it transfers into your designs. So those painstaking hours start pouring into your designs naturally. And then there's design rules such as breaking design. Hi Blue Midnight. For example, if you look at my hand, you'll notice this finger is higher than this one. This one is higher than these two. This one doesn't line up with that. This one doesn't line up with anything. This one doesn't line up with anything. Ow. And like, I'm just saying this really quickly, but I've applied the same thing just by drawing, because I've paid attention to that rule for so long. Is that if you see that the ear doesn't line up with his massive tooth, the tooth is on its own. This ear top, when I pull a straight line, doesn't line up with anything. The bottom one doesn't line up with anything. This earring doesn't line up with anything. So the way the hand, for example, that's what I've heard from a really, really, really good teacher, is that if you want basically a reference for a good design, just look at the back of your own hand, and you will start seeing a lot of patterns that can be applied to all of your designs. And if I'm confusing you, it's because I'm talking about things that require way more than 5 minutes of explanation. So I apologize for any frustration I've created. Another thing I like to do, I'm a big believer in using both hemispheres of your brain as an artist. Therefore, I draw with both hands. So if you watched the streams earlier, I was doing a lot of sketches with my right, and I'm doing this one with my left. It's not a yeah, that's really what it is that it forces me to think with both sides of my brain. I'm left-handed, I can write with both, but I can only draw with the left. That's awesome. That's awesome, you're left-handed. That's really cool. I have to train myself to draw with left. You're naturally left. I think that's spectacular. Hi, Mix Pie. Hey yo. How are you? And welcome back. But yeah, no, I think that's really cool. I admire that. Another thing I could share with you, Jean, is copying other artists that you really like. It's weird that it's frowned upon to copy, but it's something all the masters did. You know, Michelangelo, for example, he used to copy, if I'm not mistaken, but he used to copy one of the artists that he looked up to and copied and envied was Da Vinci. So, like, for example, my favorite character designer is Karl Kapinski. Just my opinion, I think he's the best. Literally, he's the best when it comes to characters. When it comes to just the way he puts down lines, and he creates fantasy characters. Oh, absolutely love it. So I used to copy some of his work, and I want to go back to copying it. I'm afraid of live streaming it because I might get in trouble for copyright, even though I have no problem being honest about, hey, today I'm copying Karl Kapinski and this is my version. I'm not sure if that would cause an issue for me, but yeah, that is a great way to improve your art, because you start learning how to think like your favorite artist, because you are intentionally copying just about every line you're seeing that they put down. Like I always say, when you draw, you actually learn to see. Most people don't know how to see until they start to draw. The paper, I don't even know what that is. Oh, do I watch this paper? When I copy, for the sake of copy studies, I also measure. I treat it like it's a live drawing class where I'm measuring the figure in front of me, the person posing. I treat it like that. I have one of those, what's it called? You know what? Let me just grab it and I'll show you. Just 2 seconds, please. Whoops. I kicked the camera twice. So I learned this from Ron Lemon. I have to show it in parts because the camera won't capture all. It's one of those kneading sticks. And for example, this was Karl Kapinski's masterpiece. I would look up the image or take a picture of it from one of my books, put it on my computer and treat it like I'm in a live drawing class. And then from a distance, I would start measuring things, you know, how everything relates to everything, how everything's put together, how many heads is that character in proportion to the chest and the rest of the body, how many heads is it compared to the shoulders, so on and so forth, how many rhythms can I find. That's how I treat it. And then I just go and freehand the whole thing, because I don't want to get caught up with measuring too much, because then you'll forget to loosen up and enjoy the process. But yeah, that's what I use when I'm studying. Actually, you know what? I think I'm gonna call it a night. It's been quite the adventure today. Unfortunately, I didn't hit the goal I had in mind, but I guess this is gonna have to do, or between these two, as my final piece for this drawing. And I'll start something new tomorrow, or maybe I'll start doing some study sessions. Anyway, if anybody's still in the chat, thank you for stopping by. God bless you. Have a good day, evening, night, and see you most likely tomorrow. See you later. Bye, Jean. Thanks, Mixie. Yeah, it's night. It's pretty much night for me. Thank you.